Good morning, children. Welcome to the online classes. Hope you are following the classes. Till now, you were sent with the geography 2 lessons, that is represented features of the geographical features and the atmosphere in geography. And in history, we have completed rise and spread of Christianity. Now, the next in civics lessons, first lesson is the Constitution of India. Children, today we are going to learn about the lesson 1 from civics, the Constitution of India. So, in your syllabus, civics lessons, the first lesson is the Constitution of India. Before moving to the lesson, before explaining the lesson, first let us see the contents in this lesson, what you are going to learn. The table of contents in this lesson are, you will know what is a constitution, then you will also know the Constituent Assembly and the framing of the Indian Constitution, the drafting committee, the birth of the Indian Republic, and some important features of India's Constitution. Okay, children, let me repeat in this lesson, lesson 1, the Constitution of India, you are going to learn what is a constitution, Constituent Assembly and the framing of the Indian Constitution, drafting committee, birth of the Indian Republic, and some important features of India's Constitution. Okay, children, just before explaining to you the contents of this lesson, let me explain to you what is civics actually. Okay, children, earlier classes also you have learned civics topics, like in class 6 you have learned about local self-government. In that you have learned rural and urban, panchayat raj and all that. So you may be familiar with what is civics actually. But just to revise, study of how public decisions are made, and it's nothing but the issues that are important to the public are dealt, and the rights and responsibilities of the citizens. Okay, children, are you clear with what is civics? Why we should learn civics also? Let me explain to you later. What is civics? Yes, civics is nothing but it is a study of how public decisions are made and the issues that are important to the public, and the rights and responsibilities of the citizens are dealt with. Okay, children? Right. Now, let us know why we should learn civics or why we should study civics. Yes? Can you tell, children? You have any idea why we should study civics? Like why we should study history, why we should know about geography and all, you know, why we should know for all that same way. Why we should study civics? Yes, let me explain to you. Why we should study civics means, it is the reason to study civics are to understand, it is to understand how the government works. Nothing but it is to understand how the government works and to understand the processes the government uses to make the decisions that affects all of us. Okay, how the government works, and to understand the processes the government uses to make decisions that affects all of us. And not only that, we should study civics to think about what active and responsible citizenship means to you. How the citizens are active and how you are responsible. How active you are and how responsible citizens you are. For example, you can say now the civic responsibility. If I talk about that, every person should have some civic responsibilities. Like for example, every citizen should take their voting right during the elections. It is just a simple example. Voting right in during the elections and volunteering the community, etc. Okay, children. Now, are you clear why we should learn civics and what is civics? Okay, what is civics, children? It's nothing. It is simple. It is the issues which are important to the public are dealt, and the rights and responsibilities of the citizens are dealt in this. And not only that, we should learn civics to understand how the government works and the processes the government uses, and the decisions that affect all of us, and to think about what active and responsible citizenship mean to you. Okay, children? So this is a brief introduction to you why we should learn civics and what it is. Coming into the lesson. Now, the name of the lesson, the first lesson in your civics topics are the Constitution of India. So, before explaining to you the lesson, I should explain to you, we should talk about what is a constitution. Did you hear this word any time, children? Yes, you might have heard. Fine. Now, let me explain to you what is a constitution. Children, early times, most of the countries were governed by the kings or the rulers. You might have heard the famous kings' names like Akbar, Babur, Mauryans, and yes, in class 6 you have learnt about the Mauryan Empire, the Gupta Age. All those were the Ashoka the Great. All those were the kings, and they were governed by the powerful. The regions were governed by the powerful rulers or the kings. So, children, these rulers ruled according to their personal wishes. They ruled the kingdoms according to their personal rules and regulations, personal wishes. There was a differentiation, differences of opinions among different kings. Every king used to rule their kingdom in their different ways. They have their own set of rules and regulations. Okay, then the people were subject to laws that could change with each successive ruler. So, as and when the successive ruler used to change, the rules and regulations also used to change now and then. So, in contrast, a country today follows a set of laws and principles that clearly states the rights and duties of its citizens as well as the powers of the government. So, to clearly describe what is a constitution is nothing but it is a set of rules and regulations and the rights and duties of the citizens which are enrolled in a book or in a document. You can say it's a document known as a constitution. So every country has their own set of rules and regulations and the rights and duties for the citizens which are recorded in a document which is known as a constitution. So even India has a set of rules and regulations and rights and duties which are recorded in a documentation which is known as a constitution. So, constitution is the country's supreme highest authority. The constitution is the country's supreme highest authority. Okay, children. So, the government as well as the people must obey or abide by it. Both the government and the people must obey or abide by it. Children, as you are aware, India was under the rule of Britishers for so many years, and we got independence from them on 15th August 1947. Though we were independent, all the set of rules and regulations framed by them we were following. So, but we were not completely independent. That is the reason why our famous eminent leaders and all, they have decided to frame our own constitution. So on 26th January 1950, the constitution of independent India came into force on 26th January 1950, and on this day also India became a democratic republic. So we call India as a democratic republic. The Constitution of India was framed by a body called Constituent Assembly, whose members were all representatives of the Indian people. So, children, you are learning a new word, the Constitution. What is a Constitution? It is nothing but it is a document which clearly says the rules and regulations to be followed by the citizens of that particular country. Every country has its own constitution. Every country has its own set of rules and regulations. And it's also the rights and duties, rights to be followed by the citizens and duties to be followed by the government are enrolled in this document called the Constitution. So our Indian Constitution came into force on 26th January 1950, and India became a democratic republic on 26th January 1950. Okay, children, now you understand what is a Constitution? Okay, we will send you the notes, and when you write down the notes more clearly, you will understand. Okay, now moving forward, we will learn about the Constituent Assembly. What is a Constituent Assembly? Children, in 1945, the British government has decided to grant independence to India. Okay, then they have sent a cabinet mission comprising 3 British cabinet ministers to study the issue of Indian independence. The cabinet mission recommended the formation of a constituent assembly to frame a constitution for India. So, the elections for the formation of the Constituent Assembly were held in July 1946, in which 389 members were elected. They were not elected directly by the people, but they were elected by their representatives. The members represented a wide cross sections of Indian society. In Indian society, so many eminent rulers, different categories of representatives or the sections of from the different sections of the Indian society were elected. So the Constituent Assembly consisted of eminent leaders as well as legal experts. Its members also included Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel, Maulana Azad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Dr. K. Munshi, and it also women members also were included like Sarojini Naidu and Vijay Lakshmi Pandit also. Okay, children. The first session was held on 9th December 1946. The Constituent Assembly's first session was held on December 9th, 1946. So the meetings of the assembly were boycotted by the Muslim League. There was some disturbance, so they have boycotted the meetings of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, children. So the members of the Constituent Assembly were Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and many more. Okay, this is all about the Constituent Assembly. Moving forward, let me explain to you about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was the chairman of the drafting committee. Let me explain to you about few points about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was an architect of the Indian Constitution. His full name was Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, who was born in the year 1891 and he expired in the year 1956. And he was a great social reformer who fought for ending social discrimination against the untouchables in India. He also campaigned for the cause of women and for the working class. His thoughts on individual freedom have had a great influence on the people of India. Okay, children. Ambedkar was born into the Mahadalit caste in Mahau cantonment in Madhya Pradesh. He faced a lot of discrimination because of his caste, and he came out of that, and he studied well, and he faced a lot of discriminations, and he was not allowed to sit inside the classroom. The teachers did not help them. They had to sit on sacks and carry them back. When they felt thirsty, the school peon poured water above them, and they had to drink with their cupped hands also. Cupped hands means they used to spread their two palms in front, and they had to take water in that. Children, Dr. Ambedkar, he became a first law minister of independent India, and he was also awarded Bharat Ratna, that is India's highest civilian award. He fondly remembered as Baba Saheb. Okay, children. You have this content in your textbook also. You can open your textbook once and go through and read. Okay, children. Moving forward, let us learn about the drafting committee. Drafting committee, these committees held separate discussions and submitted their reports. The principles of the proposed constitution were outlined by various committees of the Constituent Assembly. The drafting committee made several alterations and additions and finally presented the draft constitution in the month of February 1948. The Constituent Assembly held several sessions of debates in which the constitution was discussed clause by clause. Finally, on 26th November 1949, the constitution was signed by the chairman of the assembly. Who was the chairman of the assembly? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, under the chairmanship of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, then the constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. Children, the Constituent Assembly spent nearly years and a sum of 6.4 crores in the drafting of the constitution. So a lot of money also was spent, and 3 years of time was used to draft this Constitution of India. Okay, children. So at last, when it was signed on this date. You have to remember, it's important. And it was signed on 26th November 1949 under the chairmanship of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, this is all about the drafting committee. Now let us learn about some basic ideals of the Indian Constitution. So some basic ideals of the Indian Constitution were social justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Social justice is nothing but in our society, everyone does not have equal status. So the caste system divides people into high and low caste. There are also great differences in wealth. The differences rise in many injustices. The Constitution seeks to remove inequalities and ensure social justice. That means everyone should have equal right, equal responsibility, equal status. For example, the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are given reservation of their jobs, education institutions, etc., to improve their social status and living conditions. So every individual should have social justice. And the next ideal is about liberty. The citizens of India have granted the liberty to choose their own ways of lives. Yes, children, you know, every person have a liberty to choose their own way of life. Like a person can become a doctor, a person, if he's interested, he can become an engineer. If he interested to run a business, he can go for that. They are free to express themselves and follow their own beliefs. Their works they can carry on with. Okay, and the next ideal is about equality. All citizens have equal rights. The ideals of the Indian, basic ideal of the Indian, all the citizens of India have equal rights, irrespective of their caste, sex, or religion, or wealth, whatever it is. They have equal laws. They have to obey the same laws irrespective of their color, caste, creed, and religion or wealth. And the next ideal is fraternity. Fraternity is nothing but the freedom in friendship. In India, there are various communities which have their own cultures and traditions. In order to keep the nation united, the Constitution of India promotes fraternity among the various communities. Fraternity is nothing but friendship regarding the brotherhood, in a community. People can follow the ideal of living together as a brothers, like a brotherhood. Okay, children, all these are the basic ideals of the Indian constitutions. And India is a secular state also. People in India follow many different faiths such as Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, etc. So the Constitution states that, the Constitution of India states that India is a secular country. This means that in India no religion is given importance over others. There is no state of religion. There is no discrimination partially on the basis of religion in government institutions. Okay, children. So this is all about your lesson, the Constitution of India. Quickly let us revise one by one the contents of the lesson. Okay. So first, we have learnt what is a constitution. It's nothing but a set of rules and regulations, rights and duties of citizens. It's called it's nothing but a document which are recorded in the document. And then the Constituent Assembly, the members of the Constituent Assembly were Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, B.R. Ambedkar, and many more. And the first session was held on 9th December 1946. Then Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. I have already explained to you. You can look into the textbook and to know more about the personality. And then the drafting committee, the draft was signed on on 26 November 1949 under the chairmanship of the Assembly, drafting Assembly. Then the basic ideals of the Indian Constitution was social justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Okay, children. So the notes will be sent to you. You have to copy down these notes in your history civics classwork also. Give the heading as civics first and then write down the name of the lesson and copy the notes and solve all the worksheet given to you and update your writing work. Okay, children, see that whatever you are copying is clearly, neatly, without spelling errors you are copying, And when we meet, when you come back to the school, we will take the books for corrections. Okay, children. As and when we are sending the recordings, when you are listening to the recordings, children, open your textbook, refer the textbook also. Any point it is not clear to you, just underline and keep it ready. When we meet, we can sit and discuss. Okay, children.